Hi! Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the importance and the power of authenticity and why it's so important to just be yourself. Now this is the third part of a little mini series I've been doing on the 7 key decisions of success, which I took from Valorie Burton's book, Successful Women Think Differently, 9 Habits to Make You Healthier, Happier, and More Resilient. I think I said that correctly, right? Anyway, if you haven't read this yet, I highly recommend that you add it to your reading list. This is my second time going through the book, and it's one of those that you don't just read one time. Every time you go back to the book, you get something slightly different out of it. I tend to kind of jump around from passage to passage, and the first time I read this book was about 1.5 years ago, and I've changed so much in that time. So now as I read through different parts of the book, I'm getting so much more out of the exercises. So if you haven't read it yet, I think this is a real treasure to have in your collection. You can find a link in my bio at Rohini Wellness. There's a little link to some resources, and you can find out how to get the book there. So anyway, the very first video I did was on the first key decision of success, which is I do not downsize my dreams. The second one was I focus on solutions, not problems. And the third key decision of success that I'm going to be talking about today is I choose to be authentic. Now, I want to read a little bit from the book. It's a very brief passage because I really like the way that Valerie breaks this down. She says, be yourself. Who else can you be? It takes less effort and energy to be yourself, but it also takes courage. Fear that you will not be accepted or approved just as you are can lead you to send your representative out into the world. She looks like you, but she's not. Now that right there is a little bit creepy, but how many of us know people who are operating as our representative and not really our true selves? This can go on for years if it's unchecked. And here's the real kicker. She says, she's a counterfeit, and whatever success she's built is on false pretenses that you have to keep up with in order to maintain your success. Aim to be the best you possible. Nothing more, nothing less. That last part is powerful because if you are not clear and okay with who and what you are, your representative can build up a massive empire of something that you are left to maintain. And that can be draining, it can be stressful, whether that's a relationship, a business, whatever it is. And so I highly believe that we are all unique divine expressions of the creative life force. We're always creating. Whether you like it or not, you are always creating. And so in order to be intentional about what we create so that we can have a life that is fulfilling, we have to be clear on who we are so that we can know what we actually want and operate from a place of true desire and authenticity rather than doing what we think we should be doing based on what would make someone else feel happy. I think that, especially I can speak as a woman, being brought up in this society, we're taught to look to other people for approval, for validation. We're taught to be people pleasers, to make sure that everyone's needs are taken care of first. And that thinking doesn't get us anywhere. It's not self-loving and it's not sustainable. It leads to things like overwhelm, burnout, feeling like you're not living up to your fullest potential. And so authenticity is really about being clear on what your desires are and giving yourself permission, first of all, to have those desires, not feeling guilty for wanting to succeed, for wanting to make more money, for wanting to see the world or have a big house or whatever it is that your desires are. Not feeling ashamed of your desires, but really owning them and giving yourself permission to dream. And I think that it's important to go from that place and write out your vision. What is it that you want? When you think of a day in your perfect life, let's say your perfect relationship, what does that feel like to you? What does that look like to you? When you think of your ideal finances, what does that look and feel like to you? If you can do this in all the areas of your life and don't put any limitations on what you think is realistic or what sounds reasonable. No, this is all based on pure desire. And there's so much freedom in that. Then You can look at what your values are. Your values are those fundamental core drives that are built into your personality. They determine the way that you make all the decisions that you make in your day-to-day life. They determine how you approach relationships, how you approach business, how you approach your education. They determine your core belief system. So once you know what your vision is, what you really want, and then you know what your values are, what you stand for, and what you're willing to fight and die for, you can be really clear on who you are. And then that from that space, you can set goals. You can determine what decisions are for you if they're in alignment with your vision and your values, and which ones are not. If they're not in alignment, it's a no. No questions asked, no reason to feel bad about it. That is where authenticity comes from. It's from giving yourself permission to embrace who you are, embrace what you want, and act from that without feeling the need to justify yourself, explain it to anybody, or to apologize. And it doesn't mean that you're nasty with people or that you cut people off, but it also doesn't mean that you have to explain yourself, like I said, or justify your desires or feel guilty for wanting something. Authenticity is really about accepting what is, but to accept it, you have to be able to look at you and see what's there. What are the desires of your heart, aside from all the noise and all the roles you play as a wife, as a mom, as a friend, as a daughter, as a caretaker? Aside from all of that, who are you? What does the real you want? And once you know that, once you are clear on that, then you can move forward, live authentically, and stop sending that representative out there to create messes that later you have to clean up or maintain. So if you are not really clear on what your vision is, maybe you know little bits and pieces of it, I do have a free resource for you. It's called the Create Your Vision Workbook, and you'll find that in my bio at Rohini Wellness, or you can go to rohiniwellness.com/vision. This is a PDF download. I think it's about 15 or 16 pages, and it will literally walk you through step by step to break down your vision in all the different areas of your life so that it doesn't seem like such a big task. And from there, you can narrow it a little bit further and a little bit further to the point where you're actually mapping out some daily action steps that you can start taking right now to bring your vision into manifestation, one day at a time. So that's all I wanted to say about authenticity, and I pulled a little card from my Louise Hay Heart Thoughts Affirmation deck. I love this little deck. It's great for quick inspiration or a quick thought. And this one says, I am in the process of becoming my own best friend, the person I am most happy to be with. Pretty cool, huh? And on the back it says, loving myself unconditionally means accepting what is. Loving myself, I help create a world where it is safe for us to love each other. I love the last part of that, because there's a lot of talk about self-love and self-this and self-that, but we live on this planet in community. And when you fully love who you are, no matter what is going on in your life right now, what you've done in the past, none of that matters. When you love and accept you, you're able to show up in the space, and that love goes out to other people. It makes you a better leader, a better entrepreneur, a better sister, a better friend, a better mom, a better wife, a better person to the people around you, because you start by loving and accepting you first. So that was key decision number 3 from Valorie Burton's book, Successful Women Think Differently, which is I choose to be authentic. I hope you choose to be authentic every day. And if you fall off the wagon, so what? Get back up and keep trying the next day. Life is a big school. We're all here to learn, and it is what it is. So love you much. Have an amazing, what is today? Thursday? Yes, have an amazing Thursday. And I'll see you on the next video with key decision number 4. Probably sometime this weekend or early next week, depending on when I get around to it. All right, bye.